Good morning, everyone. We have finished chapter number 6, that is lines and angles. And I'm sure that you are preparing the notes for each and every chapters. Today, we will start a new chapter, triangles. One thing I would like to suggest you that whatever the numericals you solve from lines and angles, keep on practicing with other reference book also like R.D. Sharma, Oswald, whatever you have. Clear? And please ask your doubts too. I will feel very pleasure to clear your doubts. So let's move to chapter number 7, it is triangles. In this segment, I will give you a little bit what you can say primary information about the triangle, that is three non-collinear points. We can say A, B and C. ABC are three non-collinear points. Why they are non-collinear? Because they are not lying on the same line. So they are called as what? Non-collinear points. So these three non-collinear points form a triangle. So especially what is the definition of triangle? That three non-collinear points forms a triangle. So one of the necessary condition for forming a triangle, that the 3 points should be non-collinear. Now, what are the parts of the triangle and how we indicate a triangle in terms of geometry? So a triangle can be read by any way in terms of sequence. For example, if I am writing in triangle, I will write here BAC. You can see here BAC. I am not writing like that. B, then it's C, whatever may be. So I have to follow the cyclic sequence. I am writing BAC. Even I can also write triangle BCA. I can write triangle ABC. Sure. Then I can write triangle ACB. So this is what the sequence of writing with 3 letters for the triangles. Any way you can prefer. Then vertices of triangle. We had 3 vertices, A, B and C, that you all know. Sides of triangle is what? We have 3 sides. Once again it is AB, BC, AC. And then angles. Angles of triangle that we all know, either angle ABC or it can be written as angle B. Then I will write angle BAC, or it can be angle A, and angle BCA, or it can be angle C. Clear? So this is what the way of writing angles, sides, vertices. Now even we done a theorem also that measure of all the angles of triangle A plus B plus C, that is according to Angle-Sum property, is 180. So dear students, in this chapter triangles, these are some preliminary or mandatory, you can say basic information which you have to carry forward, okay, for this chapter triangles. So I am sure that you are well aware of how to write the triangle, how to read the triangles, and what is the meaning of triangle. Clear? So let's come to the topic what we have to discuss about, congruency. Congruency of triangles. A term using here congruency. Now it will follow you till your 10th standard. Okay, congruency. So for congruency, what is congruency? That is 2 objects. I am just writing definition for a confirmation. 2 objects having exactly of same length or their angles should be equal. Now one term I written here exactly of same length. Exactly of same length means what? Suppose I have drawn a triangle here. It is A, B, C, and another is what? PQR. PQR. Now what I can see in these two figures, if in terms of side I am writing that for sides AB is equal to PQ, BC is equal to QR, and AC is equal to PR. AB is equal to PQ, BC is equal to QR, and AC is equal to PR. So this is what I can say, that all the sides are congruent, equal. So the triangles is what? Congruent. In terms of angle, that is, if suppose A is equal to P, exact length. Suppose this is what? 60. So P is also 60. So I will write here angle A in terms of angles. In terms of angles, angle A is equal to angle P is equal to 60. Now I am taking C as 70, R as 70. So I can write here angle C is equal to angle R is equal to 70. So can you guess the two angles are equal? So similarly we can say that B and Q should also be equal, because if I subtract the sum of 130 from 180, I will get 50 here. Same thing, sum of 130 from 180, I will get here 50. So I will write here also angle B is equal to angle Q, that is equal to what? 50. So this is what our basic concept. I am not saying that it is a necessary concept, that if we need to prove a triangle, I am not talking about a triangle, if I am talking about square also. So you can see the two squares I made here along with the equal length. So I can say that square ABCD and PQRS are congruent when all the sides are congruent of respect to ABCD and PQRS. So this is the satisfying condition when we are talking about congruency of the triangle, that is in terms of side and in terms of angles. But dear friends, it is not necessary that always you are getting a side or you are getting an angle for what? Proving it congruent. We have to create certain conditions. Okay, that conditions either we have to take it out from the given question or by some other means of required data. Clear? So after congruency, we will have some examples given in 7.4. You can see the textbook. See first question and second question and third question, fourth question, fifth question. So which of the triangles given below are congruent to triangle ABC? For ABC, how many triangles are congruent? So we can say that, can you see here ABC? The length of AB is 4.5, BC is 5 and AC is 4. So if I am getting exactly a triangle of same length which it corresponds to, we can say that the given triangles may be congruent to this one. So let's talk about second figure, PQR. See, AB is 4.5 and PQ is also 4.5. We got one side equal, right? AC is 4 centimeter, PR is 4 centimeter, BC is 5 centimeter, QR is also 5 centimeter. So this second triangle is congruent to the first one. Clear? Why? In terms of side and even in angle also. You can see angle R congruent to angle C, angle B congruent to angle Q, and angle A congruent to angle P. So second figure, second triangle is congruent to the first one. Now let's see the third one. In third one you see the dark figure here, 4.5. See, DF is 4.5 and AB is here also 4.5. Same way DE is 5 centimeter. You will get what here it is, BC is 5 centimeter, AC 4 and FE 4. Got it? So we can say that third figure is also congruent to the first one. Same way, it is third figure. Again we are getting a length of 4.5, 4 and 5. No doubt we have to rearrange while writing the triangles, but the lengths and the value of angles are similar. So we can say that second, third and fourth triangle is congruent to the first one. Now let's talk about the fifth triangle. You can see that there is no variation of the sides according to the first, second, third and fourth. All the lengths are 5, 5, 5 centimeter. It is an equilateral triangle. So this figure, figure number 5, is not congruent to this one. So I am sure that you must have got the idea about the congruency, that at least the two triangles in terms of side or in terms of angle should be congruent. Otherwise, if any of the term is not matching, you can't say that the triangle is what? Congruent. Clear? So let's move to the another part now. A term is used here, CPCT. We'll use this term CPCT. That is, suppose we have to prove that two triangles are given. Okay, A, B, C and PQR. Guys, I am going to tell you about the word CPCT, that is congruent, corresponding parts of congruent triangle. What it means? Corresponding part of congruent triangles. Now, where will you suppose ABC and PQR, okay, and here it is given like AM, and here it is PN. So if we are given like AB is equal to PQ, BC is equal to QR and AC is equal to PR in triangle ABC and triangle PQR. I am explaining you what is the meaning of CPCT and where we will use it. Suppose we have to prove that, what you have to prove here? We have to prove that AM is equal to PN. We are going to prove AM is equal to PN. But how? See, that conditions have been given to us in the question. Okay, that is BC equal to QR, AB equal to PQ and AC is equal to PR given. So first of all, it's my duty that I will prove that triangle ABC and triangle PQR are similar. So I will write here AB is equal to PQ, BC is equal to QR and AC is equal to PR. Clear? It is what? Given. Then I will write therefore triangle ABC is congruent to triangle PQR. Clear? Just I am giving you one little bit hint here why we use CPCT. So don't get panic. I will tell you all the identities. Now see, all the sides we have taken. So I can write here by side. No doubt I have not explained you the criteria of side, but I am just giving the glimpse of the meaning of CPCT. So if the triangle has already been proved congruent, so I can write here therefore AM is equal to PN. And I will write here by CPCT. Understand the meaning of CPCT? That is, after proving with some necessary worthy conditions the given two triangles similar, then the remaining part of the triangle can be proved similar using what? By CPCT. CPCT means what? Corresponding part of congruent triangle. I know that I have not explained you what is meant by side or other criteria, but it's my duty just to tell you about the term CPCT. Clear? So this is what all about today, and when we will meet in our next segment, we will do all the criterias of triangles, like in terms of their correspondency, in terms of their angle and in terms of their sides. So we have different criteria here, and the first, so let me finish the topic today. In my next segment I will be there along with the examples, for criteria. Okay, so whatever the things given to you, prepare it as an assignment in your notebook. Okay, and keep on writing everything. Take care of self and pray to the God that very soon we will meet in our school. So stay home, stay safe. Goodbye.